You're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Sarah's View of Life right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy. Well, my show this week is all about gifting, and I'm going to be advocating for the books of people I've interviewed this year. So we're going to go through that list in a moment. But I've also done many shows in the past on Christmas. All you have to do is just Christmas ideas in my search engine. My shows will come up. And they're about ideas that you can give that give beyond the gift. Ideas like gifting someone a gift of a donation you've made on behalf of them. So, Joe, you give him, I have donated to an animal shelter or to the children in Gaza or to whatever in your name, and you can gift whatever you want to gift, but that's a gift that keeps on giving, because not only is it something that the person feels good on, do they need another sweater, do they need another this or that, but they know that the gift that they've been given is going to be serving someone else. So that's a great idea to do. And I also have many lists on which I will put on my show banner for this week, of ideas of what you can do. And there's a wonderful thing that is, it's a winter coat for the homeless, but it could convert into a sleeping bag. And that's something they need, because my goodness, we're still seeing people sleeping out in the street in this day and age. It's quite mind-boggling. But let's talk about books. My idea is gift books. I'm passionate and an advocate for giving books as a gift, not just at Christmas, but any time. A book is a gift that keeps on giving, offering readers lasting wisdom, inspiration, and joy. It lingers in their hearts and minds, sparking new ideas and delightful moments long after the page is turned. Here are some books that would make great gifts, and each one of them has a show with me, so please do listen to the show. Well, I'm going to start off with, obviously, the book that we produced this year, Our Forgotten Children. I'm very proud to present this book. It is 15 chapters. I did contribute a chapter myself on the raising of children and how we need to do things differently. We know that the system is broken. We know that teachers are leaving the profession because they can't afford to, out of their own salary, to be providing books and tools, etc. And of course, if you're in the States, your educational platform may be cancelled altogether. So God knows what's going to happen. But it is a book about our children. Let's not forget them. Let's not leave them behind. And maybe if we have a dysfunctional society today, it could be because they're not getting the education they need, they're not getting the community support, and we're not supporting the families in the right way. So I'm very passionate about that book. It's book 1 in the series, and next year Our Forgotten Seniors will be out, and that will be all about our seniors. Don't put them out to pasture. They have contributed a great deal and still an awful lot more to contribute. Wisdom that you need to know. Then comes the restoration of Amy. Remy has one last obsession to complete his restoration of a 57 Studebaker Golden Hawk. He's planned a trip to Montreal to find a part he desperately needs. It's a long way from Florida, and his Chevy truck is almost as old as he is. There are doubts that he'll be able to make the drive, doubts about his bladder, his heart, but he is determined. This is actually a book by my brother, Sam Hawksmoor, and you'll see a link here that will lead to all his other books and the shows that I've done interviewing him on the books, and articles he's read, and his site where many articles have been on. But it's about a young girl who's in a cult, who escapes. She's on the run with her dog, and how Remy kind of finds her along the way and how it changes both of their lives. It's a wonderful book, very easy to read, and it also speaks to the gap between elder in his 70s and a young girl of around 13, and bridging that gap. So this can be for teenagers and for the elderly alike. Then there's the immunity code, fuel your body's defensive with food and lifestyle. I recently did this show with Michael Gaffinstone. We call her Mickey, and it's about how to defend your body with food, with nutrients, with positive outlook, and how to do it so that you keep your immune system up, so you don't need doctors. She was also a contributor in our Forgotten Children's book, and contributed a beautiful chapter there, and is a has many more books in her entourage there. Then I was also part of the book that is quite extraordinary, and that is going to be going around the circuit for the um, next 5 years. It's been to the Emmys, which is Mission Accepted 262, 262 women. And in here, there is, small chapters from people who have contribute. And there are people that many of them I have interviewed, not just on their chapter, but on their story and what they're doing. And this book has become such an inspiration, along with some of the people that are part of it. I've interviewed Dee, who unfortunately just lost. And oh my God, there's some amazing people here. I've got around, I think, 49, 50 shows of people that I've interviewed from the book. And there's a link to that show page where you can just look to see what grooves with you, and which shows to listen to. But I recommend all of them, because we are the answer, we are the empowerment that this world needs, and it is time for us to come together and get ready, because when there's a crisis, we know what to do. We're up our sleeves, and with common sense love, we're going to be the solution. So here's another one that is actually not quite out yet, coming out in January, but it just had to put it in here because you can pre-order. It's Best Sex Ever After Menopause. And this is a lovely memoir of Carol Remez, RMZ. And it was out of necessity that she had to do this, because she was married to a gentleman that was 7 years younger, and her libido had gone, and how was she going to get it back? And so she talks about that, how to get it back, how to maintain it. And there is no age bracket on sex. So it'll be a good book to come out, and you can pre-order it. And I know you know somebody who's going through menopause or after menopause and wants to know if there's still a sex life. Then there is Sit Cinderella Sit, mostly a true memoir by Lisa Cheek. This is a lovely show I did with her. She was 15 years editing commercials, and then one day, no job anymore, downsized, and she was out. And a beautiful thing landed in her lap. It was to make a movie in China, rural China, on Cinderella, because it's believed that's where Cinderella first stemmed from. And so it was all about the wonderful journey that she had making this movie and then editing it in Hong Kong afterwards, and how it completely changed her life, because she had the time to go in and see her inner child, look at things that she never thought that she needed to see. And so a real movie of self-discovery, and what's happened to her life since then has been fantastic. So here is Amy Maisling Pollock with The Adventures of Jellybean, a trilogy of a girl's adventure from around ages 8 and up. And Jellybean is all about Jellybean's adventures. This is a great one for kids around 8 up, and all the adventures that she goes on. And it is a trilogy, and it was a wonderful show. And Jellybean has been with her all her life, being a character that's traveled with her through her life. And finally, she decided to put pen to paper, and here we have the books. Then we have Faraz Dada. I've interviewed him many times on many of his books. The Children of the Revolution, which is one of them, The Disciple, and then his recent one, which we have here. And it's quite extraordinary what this gentleman has done. Even around accountant in London, working with some of the top-notch people, champagne every Friday at the end of the day. And then he went on a journey with his wife, and discovered there were these children of the revolution in and it It changed his life completely. He went to Myanmar to visit his wife's family, and they kind of hit a storm, and they ended up off kilter, and they discovered this Buddhist monastery and all these young children that were orphaned, 1,200 of them at the time. Um, and what he's done to change their lives, and absolutely extraordinary. So each of the shows has been wonderful, and he's emerged even more into his spirit, and even more of what he shares is illuminating. Then we have Dr. Lorraine Price supporting women in learning about self-love and why it's important. And she's worked as a psychiatrist for 23 years, and she's rarely witnessed women taking care of themselves as they take care of others. Her goal is to start a revolution where women learn that self-love extends longevity, and her specialty areas are trauma, military medicine, and women's issue. And it's the embraceable me. So this is a really good one. Fabulous show. We did a fabulous show, but a really good book to, someone that's in transition and that really needs kind of some encouragement and support along the way. And don't forget, most of these people are coaches as well. So they're not just authors. So if you wanted to reach out to them, you just go to their show link and you can do that. Then is I Lived to Tell the World. This was another recent show I did on the immigrant story. And Elizabeth Mayren decided to do something kind of interviewing immigrants that had come from war-torn countries or strife. And it's all set around Portland because that's where the people landed. And I Live to Tell the World is through people that had they stayed, they wouldn't have lived. And having to leave family members behind, family members being killed and getting out for by the skin of their teeth. And so it's a tall, story about immigrants and refugees who've overcome incredible challenges, and how this book changed her life in putting this story together. So it's a really good book to read to delve into even more stories. And then we have Renee with The Wrong Side of the Flame. And, this is kind of about the carnival and dances and fire spitters and dominatrix and characters drawn from her experience as a belly dancer from the vibrant culture of the Resonance fairies. And it was fun to read this. And this is not just her only book, Renee West, but it's a good one to read. And, like, you go into it in kind of fantasy because it's all about a story, of this young woman, but you kind of come out kind of feeling relatable. So I highly recommend that too. And then you have Stay by Julie Fingersh, where it's warmth, wit, lyrical prose. Stay offers insight for those facing midlife challenges, parenting adult children, battling fear, self-doubt, and above all, it's for its readers seeking to reflect, feel, laugh, and view their own path with a fresh perspective. So we all need that, don't we? Then we have Jenny Garufi. She used to be Jenny Mannion, so we've done shows in the past under her maiden name. She's an acclaimed author, speaker, and healer, and discovered her true life purpose through healing experiences that cured 7 years of illness in 3 weeks. Over 20 years, she has gathered tools to foster self-love and self-worth, empowering others to attract aligned relationships and circumstances. Her latest book, Mindful Exercises in the Shower, offers 21 days of simple exercises to kickstart your mindful journey. I invite you to go and listen to her show because we really go in deep. And water is a conduit. So doing anything in the shower, tapping these exercises, any of that type of thing, it helps to wash away the woes and the struggles, and just to realign yourself in the right way. Then we have Stacey Moffat, the Lost and Found in Tennessee series, and it draws the experiences growing up in Nashville, studying in 1960 Mississippi. Her two-book historical fiction, Missing, the series The Missing Girl and Jessa is Back, explores the South's culture and racial legacies through the stories of friendship, resilience, and identity. Drawn a great deal from her own experience, character-driven, about a young girl who loses her family, who doesn't like the segregation out there and wants to do something to try and bring people together. Very powerful story. And then we have The Science of Human Possibilities by Kuma Marti. And it's a convincing narrative where evolution and spirituality are complementary, not only competing forces. So all about our mind, the science and the spirit, how we bring things together. Very, very intriguing and a very interesting show. Then we have Saving Key, and this is a very interesting one. Buzz Darjeeling Grinnell, and it's a historical fiction novel set against the backdrop of post-Vietnam America, which delves into the complexities of addiction, recovery, and redemption. And I love the way he's done this story. He's kind of gone from the outside in to basically characters meeting just in one day and the impact of that one meeting, how it changed their lives. But it's an outside in, and I love the approach to it. Very, very good show and really interesting book. Then you have The Salvation of Henry Maxwell by Lee Lindauer. A Colorado native award-winning author, Lindauer is an active member of the International Writers, Thriller Writers, and has participated in co-author panels like Fest and served as co-editor as the Big Thrill magazine. And this is again about a character, faction, taking fact and putting fiction together. And very often I find people learn more about history through factional stories where they take a fictional character but take them through something that factually has happened. And I think it gives us more insight. A very interesting show, very interesting book. So if you're looking for a thriller and intrigue and something delving down into a maze, this is the one to do. Then we have Kathleen Birkin's Your Creator Matrix, using quantum healing to create your reality and exploring new sciences, epigenetics, and glycobiology. Probably didn't say that right, but fascinating. And, just a whole reality and exploring this with sciences and all the very many levels to our mind, our psyche, our spirit, our essence. Delightful show with Kathleen. Do go and listen to it. Buy the book, you'll be intrigued. Then we have Enfant Terrible, a work of a roller coaster of literary fiction that took 15 years to complete, and it's got its name after expressing that it's normally used to describe a person known for shocking remarks and outrageous behavior, which is appropriate because of the story's main character, Damien Warren, is in the front band for a metalcore band. This is very interesting because she also talks about her autism and also her ADD. And although, very big in her realm, and she's just been part of the new movie Spellbound on the behind the scenes, she always wondered what was her problem, what was something that was in her way. And when she got diagnosed, it became something, a revelation to actually understand that's the why I have trouble in this area and that area. But it hasn't stopped her from writing these books. So, Colorado native and award-winning Lee Landauer. Did I do Lee Landauer? I think I did. Yes, I did. But he's got some more books here. So yes, definitely, he's got the Irrational Fears, the Sava Steps, and of course the Salvation of Maxwell. So there is a trilogy there that you can dive into. Now, this one is The Labyrinth Path to Light and Peace. Sandra Wasco Flood, artist, poet, founder of Living Labyrinths for Peace, inspired labyrinth walking in the U.S. Capitol's Eastern Lawn. Her book, The Labyrinth Path to Light and Peace, shares a vision of healing and peace through this transformative practice. And labyrinth walking is, again, everything is rhythm, everything is in flow, and labyrinth walking allows you to get into that flow. And as you get into that flow, you open up things and you let things go and you let other things in. Again, a really great show and fascinating book. Then we have The Dream Hunters. Hannah Sky, a young woman in search of meaning, receives a cryptic letter that her missing and ancient eccentric aunt Julia, her experience of recurring powerful pumpkin patch dreams, unfolds into a spiritual journey into a mysterious island of eternal autumn, Maple Hollow, where she discovers the mystic Sky Manor and the magical family legacy. This is pure fantasy, but for me, fantasy always reflects my reality. And so if you want a book just to delve into something intrigue, uncovering the layers, this is the book to go to. Then we have Rain Breaks No Bones by Barbara L. Taylor. And this set in 1955, a 5 installation in Taylor's best-selling Scranton trilogy explores the family legacy of loss and sometimes mystical vision to a better world. So please do listen to this and look at that book. Then we've got Embrace Your Age. And I love this. The author means it when he says, you can get better than ever. Embrace Your Age isn't a sweet or forgiving predecessor, dear old friends. Mr. Flaherty, he says he's an optimistic 87-year-old going on 60, nails in your doubts and insecurities, whether you are 50, 60, 70, 80 or more, with direct calls to action. So you do not have to give in to your age. And he, I hope, is going to be one of our co-authors in our next book, which is Our Forgotten Seniors, where we will have all that we've contributed, the wisdom that we've shared, but also the things that you need to know to prepare for your seniorship, but also do not throw us away. We've still so much to give. Then we have another book, Well, of Course. Well, of course, is author Dr. Tamara Stevens presenting a transformative guide that will help you discover the extraordinary lessons that are hidden within the ordinary experience. And it's enhancing your life experience. And very often we go through life and we don't realize it's speaking to us all the time. It's showing us where to go. It's giving us the answers, and we don't always pay attention to it. And this book is around that, paying attention. What has life got to give you? Another great show. Then we have the Fairy Godmother's Growth Guide. Social media sensation Marissa McCready is the Fairy Godmother with a self-help guide that fits one size fits all. Modern media makes self-love seem simple. Buy a bath bomb, apply a face mask, and voila, you've got self-love commodified and canned in for your convenience. But self-love cannot be bought. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to self-care. And so this is about really putting self-love into yourself. Now, you've got to remember, when you apply self-love and you step into that loving embrace, that loving essence, you are now sharing that love out with others, and you become the loving healing. And, my motto right now is common sense love. That's where we need to be in the world. But this is about self-love, because when you step into self-love, you know what love to share and with whom to share it and whom it heals. So again, another great show and a really good book to give. Then here's another one, The Love Compass, a girl's guide to finding authentic love. Stephanie Seek. Stephanie Seek was also part of the 262 book, and I have interviewed her, which you can find on that. And she shares how our upbringings and societal norms and lack of self-love and others' expectations can lead us away from our authentic selves, and how it's never too late to pause, realign, and become the creator of the life that you really want. Listen for practical guidance on how you can begin to redesign your life at any age to receive inspiration about what you deserve to create a life you love. Both of these last books are really, really good about that journey. Make 2025 a journey going in to self-love so you can bring that love out, because Lord knows we need more love in the world. Then we have Decoding Your Emotional Blueprint by Judy Wilkins Smith, world-renowned systemic work and consultations expert, motivation speaker, and author. And Decoding Your Emotional Blueprint is a powerful guide to transforming through distangling multi-generational patterns. And I don't think you realize how much is in your DNA, in your actual cell structure of old patterns. And you wonder why you're doing things that in your mind you know are bad for you, but it's kind of a habit, or you don't even realize that you're doing it. And that's because it's stuck in your blueprint. And how do we recognize that? How do we erase that and insert a program that is more functional for you today? So this is very, very interesting, because when we understand what we've inherited, what our DNA has inherited, then we know how we can solve it. So fascinating book, great show. Then we have Dare to Live Fearlessly. And here I am. I'm also in this book as well. And Dare to Live Fearlessly, here I'm on the back. And this is each of us contributed a chapter on, how to live fearlessly, how we've looked at the things that we've had to face, and each one of us kind of shared how we overcame it. But you can also write in the book affirmations, after you've read one chapter, what did it mean to you? And, it's I'm proud to be a part of the book. And so that was my fourth book that I was in this year. And we're empowered by other people's stories. And she's also one of our authors in the Forgotten Children's book. She's dedicated many, many years to youth work and is all about helping empower them and not go down the wrong road, defend them and help them redirect to the right road. Then I have my Self-Discovery to Soul Living, which is my book, and where I embark on a transformative journey of self-discovery and positive soul living. And I narrate my early years in England, South Africa, the USA before settling in BC, Canada. And this narrative is a tale of personal evolution, an account for companionship, adventures with her beloved dogs, Candy and Kokomo, and her children, and so much more. It was hard to write, because when you're writing about your own story, it's a lot of things come up, obviously. I'm also one of these things. Once I've done something, I now move on. So the book is there. I've found a couple of mistakes in the book. So the second publishing will get rid of that. One day I'll do an ebook on an audiobook on it. But right now it's there if anybody's interested in reading my life. It just shows the struggles, but how what I did to overcome, or how it led me to doing what I'm doing today, which I absolutely love. And so it's never wrong, is it? It's just like sometimes it's hard to get through. And believe me, with some of the people's stories that I've listened to through the 12 and a half years I've been doing this, and they've been horrific. Things that have happened to them should not happen to any human being. So, my story of struggle is more of a spiritual one, spirit to human, and more of an empathic one, and feeling unseen because I wasn't. I was different in a world that didn't like difference. And so that's always been my struggle. And if anybody reads it, I hope that in sharing that, it helps them reflect and see within themselves and how to face that and how to move on. Because for every door closed, there's a window or door that opens, and for every pain that we feel, um, we know how to go through that pain, and when we come out the other end, we know the joy. So it's all about participating in life and going through it. So these are just some of the books of the people that I've interviewed. There are more, but here's an idea of them. Also, you can go to our author's Kiss and you can see all our authors there. Not all of the authors are there because sometimes they might be under Choose Positive Living. Your health is your choice, mental health awareness. Um, if it all depends what I'm interviewing somebody on, but here are some books. You will find many more. We have 3,700 shows here for you, so you'll find a lot here. And I hope that you enjoyed them. Enjoy the books, and you can see some of the books behind me here. These up there are people that I've interviewed along the way. All of those books up at the top of the shelf are all people that I've interviewed and that have shared their books with me. A book is a thing that keeps on giving. You can read it today and put it down and then come back and read it again, a totally different time period in your life, and receive it in a different way, because it's all about where you're at and how you relate to it. So that's what is the intriguing thing about it. So I hope that you buy some books for Christmas. A book, as I said, is something that keeps on giving. People can have book clubs. People can listen to podcasts and have podcast clubs as well. Listen to the podcast and everybody take notes and then share those notes afterwards. It just expands on the knowledge and helps people see things from a different perspective. But a book is a wonderful gift to give. It's not just the book with all the pages in it, but it's the book and all the stories, the meaning, the illumination that is in that book that then becomes the light for the reader. And then the reader, in its enthusiasm, shares that out with other people because they've learned it from the book. And my motto is listen, learn, and apply. So I hope that you've got some good Christmas ideas here for the books, because I know how impactful a book can be. And don't forget, all of these people have shows attached to their books as well, and they all are in service in one way or the other. They might just be an author. I actually do have one other book, which I am just going to quickly look up here, if you give me a moment, because I forgot to put it in. And this is Mickey's husband, Gethin Stone, and he is a futuristic writer. And sorry, I'm just trying to find him here. Mickey has done many shows with us. So I am going to find that show because he writes fiction, but totally out there type fiction. But again, I've always said if it's mystical, if it's fictional, I always see more reality in it than not. So give me a moment. I found it. It's Adam Gaffin's The Cassidy Chronicles, where he literally goes up into space and takes us into what he calls hope punk. Hope punk, it's no surprise that you look around today and find all sorts of indicators that we're entering Helene's crazy ears. Imagine a dystopian grid-marked future isn't difficult. All you have to do is read the news. But I think that we are writing the history of the future right now by the choices we make every day. Writing stories that represent optimism and a future for the future is not just the right thing to do, but necessary, at least to me. And as a Heinlein, he said, a pessimist is correct oftener than an optimist, but an optimist has more fun. So these are all the books that he has. And there's quite a number of them. He is a big writer, and it's very space. And that's a great escapism. It's great escapism to have because sometimes we just want to pick up a book that will take us somewhere else and we just don't have to think. So I know I've forgotten some other books, but they're there on, go to our Off This Kiss genre. You can see many books there. But as I said, if I'm interviewing somebody on mental health or spirituality, they may have books which are on their show page because it was mostly about the work that they do, not necessarily authorship. But Merry Christmas, everybody. We are getting there very close. But, Amazon delivers in a couple of days and you can still get that book. You can have it sent directly to someone. You don't have to give it in person. So whether you want to give escapism, whether you want to give something on children or children's book, whether you want to go on self-help or whether you want to go on business, it's all here. And so I hope that you order some of the books and get them out there. And of course, I'm hoping you will order Forgotten Children. Change doesn't happen unless we make it happen. And I always say, when you're aware, you begin to care. And so we're trying to make you aware so that you care about the system. And each one of us stepping up to make changes in that system is what makes changes in that system. So I hope everybody is doing their Christmas shopping. Remember to stay calm. So many people crazy in the parking lots. The poor tellers are exhausted. They may not have your product. We've got strikes here, so some of the products may never get here in time. And it's just take a deep breath. It will be what it's going to be. And this is why it's great to order something from Amazon or Barnes and Nobles where you can get it directly to you or to the person you want to give to, bypass the other realm. But it's all about togetherness, love, companionship, and open your door on Christmas Day. Just, not to a stranger, but somebody you don't know that you know is going to be on their own. Set another place at the table. It's about inclusion. And don't forget the lonely. I've done many shows on the lonely. This is a terrible time for them. If you know somebody who lives on their own, maybe a single mom, maybe a senior, somebody that doesn't get out and about much, this is a great time to reach out to them. A little gift, invite them for tea, or maybe even invite them for Christmas. But it is meant to be from the heart, folks. This is heart time. So let's step into that heart time, okay? So until next time, folks, happy shopping. Bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tab at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.